Hi Aquarius, and welcome to your July 2018 tarot reading. We have a Celtic cross spread in front of us, which is normally a 10 card spread, but you did get an extra card in the position of your influence on the situation, and also an extra card in the environment's influence on the situation. And as usual, I pull an oracle card that we go over at the end, and then recap the reading from there. So let's go through the cards one by one. In the main situation, we have the Sun card. This could be pointing to a few things. There's actually going to be a new moon partial solar eclipse around the 13th of the month in the sign of Cancer. So that could be saying that you're going to have maybe, let's say, a new start in your work life. Could be health, anything like that. But with the sun in the upright, that's definitely a good sign as far as the energy you're dealing with. Towards the end of the month, the sun will be moving into your opposite sign of Leo. So it could be referring to that as well, as far as this could be regarding relationships. If that's the case, we do have a card in the challenge position that could point to some disappointment there, which is the Five of Cups. And this is actually a card of Scorpio, so maybe some of you are dealing with the Scorpio. It's also worth noting, though, that Scorpio is actually moving backwards. Rather, Jupiter's moving backwards in Scorpio right now, and that's your 10th house. So maybe you're trying to shine in your career life, and you feel that that's not happening. That could be saying that it's because Jupiter's just still moving backwards through your 10th house, and that'll actually start to move forward around mid-month. So maybe that's saying that as time goes on through the month, you'll start to feel this energy more and less of the disappointment. It's worth pointing out that regardless of the scenario, this card, the person's focusing on the Three Cups, not realizing that there are still two standing behind them. So, let's say if it is a romantic relationship, maybe something has you feeling disappointed, but you have to remember those two cups are still there behind you. Or again, if you feel that you're not getting the recognition you deserve, let's say if it's career, since it could be sixth house as well, then maybe that'll come a little bit later on down the line. In the position of the foundation, we have the Knight of Swords. So this is actually a card of Gemini. So you could be dealing with a Gemini. That's certainly a possibility. Could just be referring to maybe you tried to put something into place during the time of Gemini and you were expecting that to take off, and maybe it's not getting you the recognition you thought it would at this point. That's certainly a possibility. Could just be rapid communication. Sometimes it could be perceived as aggressive communication, possibly an argument. And with the sword kind of pointing to these two cards, that could be what it's pointing to as well, saying that maybe you had an argument with your relationship partner or some kind of conflict in the work environment. But if that's the case, it doesn't seem to be something that can't be repaired if you want to. Again, going back to the two cups behind you and the three there. And Mars is actually moving retrograde through your sign right now, and that could have people feeling irritable. So maybe that was what happened as well. Maybe if this is about some kind of combative communication, maybe you lost your cool, and maybe that led to some conflict. In the position of the past, we have the King of Swords. This is actually usually my Aquarius card. So this could just be saying that in the past you were feeling in your power, feeling good about yourself, and again, maybe whatever that was regarding, you felt that it would get you recognition, and it hasn't, so you're disappointed about that. If that's the case, it could just be a timing thing. Like I said, we do have this card there as a challenge, and it could just be saying that you feel that you should get more recognition, but it could just be that it's moving a little bit slower. And with Mars retrograde in your sign too, rather, This could also be pointing to your energy levels because the sun is our vitality to a large extent. So maybe it's saying your energy levels are low with Mars moving retrograde through your sign, and you're not understanding why your energy levels are low. If that's the case, that would point to why. But in the present position, we do have the Strength card. So this too would point to some vitality. So maybe we're feeling it a little bit more. Because it could actually feel a little bit worse when Mars is just moving really slow and almost feeling like it's standing still than when it's moving forward or in retrograde. So maybe now with it moving retrograde, you're able to revisit things and now you have a little bit more energy. Anything where maybe if you did lose your cool, now with it moving back over those same points in the sky, you could actually repair those issues if you feel inclined to. But again, with this could just be saying in the time of Leo that you're going to be feeling more energy and feeling like you're getting more recognition. I sometimes view this as a card of having control over your ego. So let's say you did lose your cool, that could be pointing to this as well, that now in the present state, you have a firmer grasp over your emotions and just feeling more in balance in general. In the near future position, we have the Nine of Pentacles. This is actually a Virgo card, and Venus will be in Virgo around mid-month until early August. So, I mean, that's your 8th house. So maybe if there's something regarding inheritances or if you were trying to get a loan, for example, if you're trying to go into business for yourself, maybe you'll receive some good news regarding that while Venus is in that house. Could also be your partner's finances, so maybe you receive word that the person you're in a relationship, they got a raise or a promotion. That's certainly a possibility. Another way to look at this is often seen as the card of being single. So it might be that you did actually end the relationship. Maybe there was some kind of fast, harsh communication regarding that ending, and maybe you were disappointed by it, but now you're actually starting to enjoy being single. That's certainly a possibility. I'm not sure that's going to be a case for most of you, though, because we do have the Four of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So to me, that's building something stable. So going back to what I was saying, if this was a conflict, again, pointing to those 3 spilled cups, but the 2 back there, maybe it just had to do with that Mars energy going backwards. You're going to have a lot of energy in your opposite sign soon. And then you'll also have a total lunar eclipse in your sign towards the very end of the month. And that's going to be sitting right around Mars too. So maybe whatever happened there, you can bring it to a conclusion. So maybe that would be repairing the relationship, for example, or possibly even starting a new one. When we're in that eclipse energy, sometimes things can come and go very quickly, so could go either way there. But in your position, your influence in the situation, we have 2 cards here, Judgment and the 2 of Pentacles. So Judgment to me is a card of rebirth. I view it as another Scorpio card, the Death being the first card for them, and then this would represent the rebirth. Excuse me. Then you have the 2 of Pentacles. So this could be saying that something you thought was done, maybe you ended a relationship, for example. Maybe that's coming back to life. Or maybe when you ended the relationship, someone from the past came back around, or you reconnected with someone from the past. And maybe you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out with the current relationship. You're trying to decide, well, do I go with this person from the past, or do I try to work on repairing the relationship with the person you were with more recently? So that could be another way that works out too. If that's the case, all this energy moving into your 7th house soon should definitely help you figure that out one way or another. But Could just be saying that that's what needs to end. Maybe you need to make a decision. And it's saying that if you don't, then the universe will kind of step in and make the decision for you, which could mean you might lose both people, let's say. Who knows? If that's saying that this is a third party situation, maybe that's saying that's ending because you stop juggling between the two. And how that plays out, it could go a few different ways. That could mean you get found out and they leave, or it could be vice versa. You found out someone was juggling, and that's why you actually brought it to an end. But this could definitely be something coming back around, actually. In the position of the environment, we have the Seven of Swords in reverse and the Fool in reverse. So there's a couple of different ways this could play out too. When the Seven of Swords is in reverse, let me put these both in the upright while we talk about them. When the Seven of Swords is in the upright, I often view that as a card of deception, and definitely in relationships a lot of times too. The way I usually see it is those two swords there. I view that as the stable, committed relationship. And then this person's kind of looking back at that with a smirk on his face, knowing, oh, you know what? I can run around and do whatever I want to do, knowing that I could always come back to this relationship, right? So that's a way I often view this card. And another way I view it is also, I mean, look at the way that he's carrying those swords too. It's saying in the long run, you're only going to hurt yourself anyway. So if that's what someone was doing to you, it's possible that they got caught, which is why this is in reverse, meaning that, okay, you found out about it, that's why you're feeling disappointed, and now, you know, someone, maybe you're reconnecting with someone from the past, maybe this person's trying to come back around, and you're not having it, which is understandable if they were the ones being deceptive. But it could also be that they found out that you were the one that was being deceptive, you were the one that was juggling two different people, and because of that, the Fool in reverse is saying they don't want to take a leap of faith and give you another chance. It might be them saying that they're done. So, like I said, there's a few different ways that could play out. And if this is in a career sense, let's say, could just be saying that maybe you're receiving an offer from a job that you used to do at one point, and you're trying to decide, do you want to go back to that or stick with what you're doing? But this is saying that maybe if there was some deception in business, you're finding out about it. So that might be what makes it easier for you to decide, all right, maybe I'm going to go back to this old job, or maybe it wasn't a job that you took in the past, but maybe the light being shined on this deception makes you say, well, you know what? Let me put down that second pentacle and focus on this other path. And that brings me to the hopes or fears position, and that's the Queen of Pentacles. So this could be saying you're hoping for financial stability. Maybe things are up in upheaval. Let's say, for example, you broke a real long-standing relationship. That's possible because of this deception. And maybe the difficulty for you there is juggling finances. Maybe that's what the rebirth is, if you will. Now you're back to being single, which we see there. And now, yes, you might be enjoying it, but now you're also trying to struggle. You're struggling a bit trying to make ends meet, right? So maybe you're just hoping for financial stability. This is a card of stability as well. Often it is seen as a relationship, a stable relationship, but could just be saying you're hoping for that stability in general. And that's what's going on here. You being back to being single. You're just struggling to make ends meet right now. But if that's the case, like we were saying, it all ties back into this too, with the Sun in the main position. You should get the recognition you deserve if, let's say, you're applying for new jobs, or even if you applied to go back to a job you had before now that you are single. You should hear some good news about that. Because in the outcome position, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So to me, this is often a card of financial stability and something, well, it could obviously be wealth, but I don't often see it going that far. It's just something that you're financially stable, you're comfortable, you're building something long lasting. Um, so for those of you, let's say if you did reconnect, it could also be referring to that same relationship, but I don't know if I necessarily see that. Just because I said these two cards together, the Fool being in reverse and then the Seven of Swords in reverse, I feel like there was deception found out, whether you were being deceptive and they're reluctant to start over with you and take that leap of faith and trust you again, or vice versa. You found out about their deception and now you're letting them know you're not going to get back with them. And then there could have just been someone else that came along in the process. That's certainly a possibility. But let's see if the Oracle card can shed some light on what's going on there. The card we got is Time to Go. That's the actual artwork there, and then it's number 45, if that number holds any significance for you. And this is from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. So we'll read the messages from that and then wrap up the reading. Okay, it says essential meanings: endings, completion, walking away from something because there is nothing else to learn or experience. The Oracle's message: you are at the end of one journey and have not yet begun the next. This is the moment to bless your experience thus far. Take stock of what you've learned. It's time to move on to new experiences and a new way of being. There is nothing left for you to do, be, or experience in your present circumstances. Take the risk and move on, even if you need to be in transition for a time. Your destiny is calling you. So maybe that's what this is referring to. This definitely can be a transition period. Like I said, it could be a rebirth as far as you're starting all over again. And that's where, like I said, for some of you, could be being single again. So now you're struggling to make ends meet for the time being, just getting readjusted. And it's saying, if that's what you're feeling, it's saying take that risk. If you really feel that there was deception that you found out about and you just want out, it's saying, yeah, maybe you're thinking about the fact that, oh, but if I leave, it would be hard to make ends meet. Maybe that's what you're thinking. Like, right now, I have this financial stability. If I were to leave this situation, it could be difficult. But it's saying, you should move forward if you really feel there was deception. And again, that was just a general message, so that could be related to career, relationships, both. Could be any of that. But we do have a specific relationship message, so for those of you, if this did resonate as a relationship reading, we'll read that. It says it's over, or at the very least, the form this relationship has taken is no longer of service to you or the other person. This is a time of letting go, of knowing that the journey has come to its conclusion. That doesn't mean anything is lost. Although this card could speak to a breakup, drifting apart, or the end of a soul contract, it is more about release than destruction. Remember the saying, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it never was. Endings are always a sign of new beginnings. If you want something deeper, walk away. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe these 3 cups are you looking at the deception that the person had in the relationship, and this was what you wanted. So you're thinking to yourself, this was what I wanted. Instead, what I got was I found out that they were running around on me, right? Or like I said, we got to be fair. It could be someone else found this out about you, just because I see the 2 of Pentacles there. And if that's the case, the judgment could be saying that you would be found out if you were the one that's been juggling between 2 people. So something to keep in mind there. But Maybe it's just saying that you want something deeper, and maybe this was more of an open relationship. So that's what this person was. You know, they weren't really committed to you per se, but they knew that, oh, you wanted a commitment. So they knew, all right, I know no matter what, if I run around with these other people, this person really likes me and wants to be with me. So I know I always have that to fall back on. So maybe they were running around. And the Fool in reverse is saying they don't want to take that leap of faith and jump into a commitment. That's a possibility. And that's where you're at, where you're like, you do want something deeper. So you're deciding, should I accept things the way they are or just move on to get something deeper? For some of you, it could be that they actually will. This could also be that they're stopping the foolish actions that they were taking. They might agree to, okay, I'll commit to you. But it's going to take some discussion if that's the case. One way or another, whether you decide to walk away or you can work it out with them, looks like it'll work out in the long run. You just have, again, there might be a transition period in between. You're actually going to have a new moon solar eclipse in your 7th house next month. So maybe that could be when you finalize things with this person, if you did reconnect, or maybe that could be when someone new comes along. You also have Jupiter in your 10th house, which is a house of status, and it's currently moving backwards, but around mid-month it'll start moving forward again. So maybe that could help you find someone new who you can build this stability with. Something to keep in mind there. So if you really are still on the fence, you can't decide stay or go, maybe you'll get that clarity in the time of Leo. So maybe that's what the Strength card could be saying too. So you could wait until that solar eclipse if you're unsure one way or the other. All right, and then for those of you if this resonated more as a financial reading, we'll read the prosperity message. This message is clear. The path you've been on with your work, creative projects, and business alliances have come to an end. You will not find the success you desire by continuing with what is now in front of you. This is an auspicious sign because there is no choice that will benefit you other than risking stepping into the unknown. It is time to walk towards something new. This card also pertains to the more neutral concept of completion. You've finished your task and can rest assured that this ending will open up a powerful new avenue of opportunity, even better than you can imagine. You have done all you can. Now trust that spirit keeps the plan moving forward. Fortune requires you to conclude this chapter of your life, and remember that when you close one door, another opens. So again, this could be referring to these two cards here, saying that Judgment is telling you to close the door or open another. It's a few different ways that it could go. Either way, I do see these two cards are really good cards to have. The 4 of Wands at the bottom and then the 10 of Pentacles. So that could be what it's saying to you, though. That, yeah, you know, if you want to feel this way, you might have to let something go. Or maybe if there is something from the past that you've been thinking about going back to, you have to make up your mind one way or the other. But trying to do both isn't really working too well for you right now. So maybe it's saying commit to one path if you want to get that financial stability that you're seeking. But like I said, there's gonna be a lot of energy in your 7th house, and then you have a full moon lunar eclipse towards the end of the month in your sign. So maybe that'll help bring some clarity to you if you're not sure which way to go. So keep that in mind. And then again, there's going to be that new moon solar eclipse in Leo next month. And we have the one this month that's in your 6th house. So lots of activity going on. So don't feel like you have to make a decision right this moment if you really are feeling this way, unsure which way to go. I mean, yeah, the Oracle message is saying it's time to go. But again, I don't feel you have to rush that if this is something that you're really on the fence about and still feel that you can salvage it with that 5 of Cups there. All right, so we'll wrap up there, and I'll talk to you all next month. Bye.